Welcome back, guys, to another video about this new book, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman.
Now, we all know narration is a very important aspect to a reader's experience. But for the yellow paper is the most important factor in the story. Vision or focus or point of view determines how close we feel with the character.
So first, let's dissect the story and let's see how this woman gets crazy.
The story starts as a woman, the narrator, is diagnosed by her husband as having anxiety, becoming very nervous at times. Just to know her husband is a physician, and his crew was to keep her in a room by herself with no responsibilities. Her other responsibilities falling on the nursemaid and the housemaid respectively.
We can see here that's the dumbest idea. Like, bro, come on. Who keeps a mentally ill, anxiety-induced person inside of a room by themselves? Like, only person that would do that is Diddy. But anyway, as the story progresses from this plot, we see the narrator become more disoriented in her own view of reality. The reality that we also see as a reader, since we're in our point of view.
Postpartum depression is a term used for describing women who often feel depressed after giving birth. And this is shown in the story. The first person point of view helps encapsulate the narrator's feelings. She is sick and she knows it, and trusts her husband with weird medicine she doesn't know the names of, and to not do anything at all. Kind of reminds me of something. But anyway, with no responsibilities and no one to talk to, she projects her feelings to a journal, and she slowly but surely shows her mental disintegration by describing the patterns of the wall.
But then, as the story goes on, how can we trust our narrator? She describes that the wallpapers are moving, and as an audience, you can see that we start to become unsure whether our narrator is or if we can even trust her own reality. She starts to see a woman in the wallpaper, trapped in the walls, and the light also plays on her vision, seeing the women in the walls clearly.
This is when we see that it's clear that this woman is beginning to become unreliable to us as a reader. Now only seeing her slowly turn our perception of her as a sane person, telling her experience to a woman trapped in her own mind.
So some of you guys may be asking, what does this have to do with the first person point of view? Actually, a bunch. It has to do with a lot. First off, first person point of view makes us closer with the character, almost making it seem like we're experiencing her experience and all the crazy massive things she's experiencing. Sorry for the yap, but then we come back to reality. Boom, there goes gravity, and we see that this woman, through a treatment we thought might help, is going insane in a small space.
It gives the readers a sense of anxiety and lets us know just exactly what she is feeling. And that is why it is so important of what an author picks the story to be told.
We are in her position. We know her thoughts, emotions, doubts, fears, and we are with her. This is a common theme in many stories. Think of a story in which it's told in a first-person point of view. Diary of the Wimpy Kid. This psychotic child tells us his story in his view, thinking he's the hero. But when we come back to reality, boom, there goes gravity. He's an actual a-hole. The Blair Witch Project, which progressively gets more insane. And fun fact, people thought it was real. That's how engrossed people are when told a story in first person. And last but certainly not least,
Fight Club, an incredible movie about a depressed guy being bored and wanting to fight some other sweaty men.
oh my gosh.
But guess what? Guess what?
What?
This is also in first person.
So tough.
And what do all these stories have in common?
What?
We really do see the character and who they are and what they're doing. We see their downfalls, their rises, and their overall story.
Just as a small section, we want to answer a few questions that you may have. 1. Does the author speak in first person? Yes, brother.
2. Is the story narrated in the past or present tense? Yes, and being in present tense lets us really see the narrator shifting consciousness in real time.
3. What kind of tone does the author use? The story progresses into madness and has a paranoid tone.
4. Is the narrator a major character in the story? Saka what? Yes!
5. Does the narrator ever speak to the audience directly? Sometimes she does, in cases where she says, what is one to do? Kind of questioning herself, but also asking the audience, what is one to do when two men in your life are stupid? Her brother and her husband.
6. Does the narrative voices or focus shift during the story remain the same? No. The story goes from kind of boring and a little concerning to paranoid and very overwhelming for the woman and the reader.
And finally, does the narrator and the reader perceive matters in the same way, or are there differences in understanding? In first person and in narration in general, it is important to have a middle ground of understanding why the character feels or thinks this way and not have a full understanding of how they feel. This is because at the end of the day, you are seeing this woman get more and more insane. But we as the audience are not the woman herself. So in conclusion,
please, miss, give us a good grade. Please, miss, we need all A's. Please, miss, don't take my happiness away. Please, miss, give us a good grade. My mama will be MA. And did I mention, your hair looks good today. Please, miss, give us a good grade.
Is diagnosed by her husband as having anxiety, becoming very nervous at times. Just to know her husband is a physician, and his cure was to keep I can't do it, bro. Sense of anxiety and lets us know just exactly what she is feeling.
Brandon, you little cookie bear, I love you.
That in my age, and they're just kind of talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now.